I've been kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash Wade, Brent Carter. We are here. You are there. Glad you're joining us, whether you're in Victoria, Corpus Christi area,
Cal Allen, Robstown, Rockport,
Agua Dulce,
Rock Vegas,
Goliad, Refugio, Edna, Louise,
Woodsboro. If you're over
Inez.
at Tuttle's Meat Market, love having you in this morning.
Ricky King, first one in. Judge Posey. Look at Judge. He's moving quickly.
Good morning,
from
Judge.
One show to the other, and Justin Glass with the three on the podium.
Agile.
Just edging out Wendy Hughes Garcia and Crystal Mapp. Good morning to y'all.
Crystal
Greg
Mapp.
Garcia.
Good morning, ma'am.
Kendra Douglas, Mark Kurtz, Bobby Leister, David Glass, Stephanie Connie, Ryan Hopping checking in, Junior Samples, Linda Chris, Will Vincent. If you're new to the show, you can watch us. Maybe you don't want to see us and want to see what we look like, but you can check us out on Facebook. Just search the Wade and Carter Show, and we're also live on YouTube as well. So check us out there. Plus, we're airing on radio as well. So we're glad wherever you're tuning in from today, we're glad you're here. Start your Friday and your weekend off with us.
Highly recommend you Corpus Christi folks find a laptop or just go to your Facebook app on your iPhone and just whip up Wade and Carter, like Wade Fishing and our now past president, Jimmy Carter. Wade and Carter. There you have it. Fish and Loser. There you go. That'd be us. Bring us up, Wade and Carter. 40 degrees in Victoria under feels like 30 degrees, semi-cloudy skies, heading to a high today of 49. 40 to 49.
Breeze is there this morning.
No Santa Ana winds, but a chance of rain. And then for our Corpus friends, we go from 40 to 49. Corpus goes from 43 to 50. Same thing. They say it feels like 30 degrees in Corpus this morning. Corpus has that unique combination of off the Gulf moisture, humidity, so that when it is cold there and you've got a breeze there, it will chill you to the chorizo. You know what I'm saying?
I find that here.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, you're from Canada.
Yeah, where's it dry cold?
Right there above South Dakota. Right abutting.
20 degrees Fahrenheit in Canada does not feel like 20 degrees Fahrenheit here.
Why is that? Is it drier?
Drier, yeah.
That's like when you're in Arizona and they say it's a dry heat.
Usually by that point, the wind is gone and it's just cold. Here, when it's cold, the wind is always blowing, it seems.
Right? The Corpus Christi winds.
Sarah Elkins checking in, Daniel Wade White, Lisa Poole, Michelle Wilson Hawkins, Ricky King, Tammy Keeling, Mark Zapata, Amanda Blaschke, Scott Tomko, Scott Snow.
Eager to get some calls from the Corpus area. If you have time and want to give us a call, 361-894-4020.
We're going to be joined a little bit later by Texas House District 30 Representative-elect Sheriff A.J. Louderback. He's going to join us in studio. But,
yes,
man, and I'm not saying they could have prevented what happened in California, although we're finding out that the one in the Pacific Palisades fire may have been set deliberately by some guy.
An idiot arsonist. They did arrest a guy, 48-year-old guy.
Yeah, that one could have been prevented. They're speculating that power lines, transformers sparking in the winds may have caused another one of the 5 fires that are raging in LA.
I think there are things that could cause fires all the time, right? It's just the circumstances have to be right. Things have to be tender dry.
Yeah.
There has to be the right wind. I mean, we saw that just out here in the outskirts of the county out in Precinct 4 when a guy was just driving a trailer and a chain was just wagging behind causing sparks, and the wind caught it just right, and hundreds of acres burned in a matter of just several hours.
Yeah, and that can happen out there, and a lot of those roadways, right on the canyons and such.
The weather brought to you by our great friends at AT Deerland Feed. Here in Victoria, for everything you need, there's Deerland Feed, whether it's fence sections, all your chemicals, all your pesticides, herbicides, side dishes for your parties. Come on up. You can buy a red funnel for 99 cents, and you can't do that in Corpus. So if you want to drive up for the day, come up in the morning. They're open till noon on Saturday.
They are.
Come up and see the great folks at AT Deerland Feed. There's Stephen Castaneda. I wonder if Carter's with him.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
How do you pronounce Stephen's last name?
Castaneda.
Oh, you're faking it.
Jim Hinojosa, good morning.
I like it.
Linda Chris says, we love Corpus Christi.
Don't push it, Linda. We like Corpus. I was born in Corpus. I'm a Spine Hospital baby. Right there on Ocean Drive. Born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Ocean Drive.
You were spawned at Spawn?
I was spawned at Spawn. There you go. Carter says hello. Hello, buddy.
So Gavin Newsom got mad at Donald Trump yesterday because Donald Trump was critical of the lack of anything in California to mitigate the damage.
I think Donald's out of line here, personally. I just think he's out of line. It's a tragedy. It's a bad situation. You're the president-elect, the future leader of the free world. Say something comforting. Don't go, well, I told you, idiots, it was going to happen, because that's basically what he did.
Everybody's been telling him it was going to happen. They
I
just only
agree.
blame Donald Trump for being the one to tell them because he's Donald Trump.
Timing is everything.
But here's the thing. I saw a video of some lady yesterday. She confronted Gavin Newsom in a parking lot, and Gavin was, well, I'm talking to the president right now. That's why I'm out here. I got him on my phone. I'm talking to him right now. She goes, I want to hear the conversation. Oh, well, I'm trying to get a hold of him. I can't reach him.
Right. Gavin Newsom is an idiot. Let's don't get sideways that just because I think Trump's protocol was out of line, Gavin Newsom is an idiot. Now, he did talk to the president. He did spend some time with President Biden.
And the president has said that
they had an ice cream.
Yeah. And he's ordered the Pentagon to send firefighting help to California. Meanwhile, find out last night in watching independent journalists on X, because you won't hear this on the mainstream media, California had lots of firefighting equipment. Mm-hmm. LA had lots of firefighting equipment. I'm thinking when you live in an area that routinely gets wildfires, and let's not stop the BS that this is climate change and this never happens in LA or Southern California. This happens all the time.
I'll get to that in a second.
They shipped off hoses, firefighter gear, the protective gear you wear, and all sorts of other paraphernalia to Ukraine. Yes, that's
so.
what
Let me tell you, we play different roles here. I'll take the low road. He'll take the high road. The feedback is instant. Lisa Poole, new scum, needs to step down. Greg Garcia, but he did tell him, and Newsom didn't listen. No water in the fire hydrants is a huge problem. Michelle Wilson Hawkins, I agree with Donald Trump.
10 years ago, the state of California set aside money to mitigate this by doing brush control. They didn't do anything with it. They were
told to rake that area.
There's no water in the hydrants in some of these neighborhoods that are burning down because Governor Newsom did not allow reservoirs to be refilled or release water from reservoirs that were filled.
Michelle Wilson Hawkins adds, people need to see how their government is not working for them. It's worth noting, Dawn and I, maybe 2 years ago, were out in the San Francisco Bay Area and went up to Napa Valley, ended over on a tour of the Muir Woods. Now, this is one of the oldest standing, forest, if you will, in the country. Huge trees. They're not the giant redwoods, but they are redwoods that are, as big around as this space, 8 feet diameter, 10 feet diameter. She and I couldn't get our arms around them together. Many of them were scarred from past fires. And a park ranger there shared with me that the fires are actually quite common and that they burn the undergrowth and that they actually help sustain the big, mighty trees. The only thing that has changed in California is that people chose to live where the Santa Ana winds have always blown and where the fires always have naturally occurred via lightning and other things.
The same people that want to save fish and trees and say we can't do anything in the forests, then go and approve building permits so people can live right on the edge of that forest.
Absolutely. This is exactly like if you live in Corpus Christi. This is exactly like we go out there to Ocean Drive and we build us a little bulkhead. A hurricane comes in and blows our house down, and you see this guy that's, a multimillionaire standing on his empty lot going, why? Why did this happen to me? Because you're an idiot. You built right on the edge of the ocean. You're an idiot.
View is awesome.
That's right. See, there's a price to be paid. Don't whine to me about losing your home and then want to blame, well, it's climate change is what did it. Will FEMA send me $2 billion to rebuild my home?
I listened to a gentleman yesterday on an interview, and his dad was elected legislator in Tennessee and fought for a dam to be built in Tennessee for hydroelectric power that would have powered a small city about half of Victoria. They stopped the dam because of a fish that
smelt. Was it a smelt?
No, it was something. I can't remember the exact name of it. Well, I'll make the story short for you. Eventually the dam got built, but they fought this thing for decades, a couple of decades. Turns out the scientists lied. The fish was not an endangered species. It actually was just a common fish. I don't even remember what they called it.
The red darter.
It was a darter. It was a darter of some point. But it ended up being a common darter that was not endangered. Scientists and environmentalists lied. Why? Because they didn't want a dam to be built.
Somebody asked, didn't Newsom actually tear down a few dams? I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I know they've had water issues in California.
Linda Christ asks, aren't the Palisades right by the ocean? I saw a replay.
Well, what are they going to do? Use women's purses to carry the water? There was a video on X yesterday that surfaced. Firefighters were carrying water from their pumper truck in purses to put out basically a little storage shed fire on the roof. They couldn't, I don't know where the hoses were.
At least they're committed.
Yeah.
Sean Brett says it's a bad idea to pour salt water all over the place. I can go with that. Yeah. I can see that.
You would destroy any chance of regrowth.
John Anderson checking in from the Carolinas. Good morning, sir. Hope you're doing well.
LA's mayor decided to play stupid DEI games that cut funding to the fire department, and now her constituency is winning stupid prizes. Yeah, that's another interesting thing, because I believe they also got money from the federal government for those DEI initiatives.
Yeah.
And they didn't really, it's turning out they really didn't have to cut the money, and now they're wondering where that money went, because it apparently didn't go to the DEI initiatives either. So
I don't know exactly where that, I know that their top 3 officers of the fire department in LA are all women. To be honest, that doesn't grab me as like, oh, that's a DEI hire. I mean, there's certainly qualified ladies. And by the way, if you're the fire chief, I don't expect you to be lugging a backpack and oxygen and hammering.
Well, and you don't make the decisions to put water in the lines to fuel the hydrants, right? That's not your call. You can complain about it all day long if they won't listen to you.
Well, it's almost a when are they going to learn thing. This happens about every 4 or 5 years. It always happens.
It's been happening for decades.
Millennia.
They've actually had, this has turned out to be a larger fire.
Millions and millions of years.
Well, I mean, when you really think about it, there's fires that burn all over the world and all over this country that consume more acreage of forest than this. There's just more people in houses being impacted by this one because of the people
And big
that live
dollar
in California.
houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim Hinojosa, I worked at a ranch in Colorado. We shared a fence line with the National Forest, and we fought with the Forest Service to let us clean out the rails and dead trees for years. They wanted to save some squirrels, and 10 years later, the whole range burned down.
Those squirrels probably survived.
Squirrels would
Yeah.
adapt, you know.
Yeah.
Squirrels will leave and go to the city.
Why do you think for years farmers have burned off old crops? That carbon and that ash is good for the soil.
Yeah.
Go look at what happens in a forest within about a year after it burns.
Oh, man. Hey, out there, I was talking about 1686, out just in the South County, 12 days after the fire, the most tender green shoots of new growth were coming up. The cows were loving it.
Remember probably in the 70s when all these environmentalists were spiking trees and worried that clear-cutting forest was going to get rid of all the trees and we were headed to an ice age if we didn't have more trees? Guess where you never hear of these types of fires raging out of control?
Michelle Wilson-Hawkins trying to start a fight on a Friday up above. Lisa Poole had asked, was it a skelt? Was it a snail? Is that what the fish was? And down here, Michelle Wilson-Hawkins chimes in with a 3-word sentence, Lisa Poole smelt. And I know she's answering the question above, but I don't think it's appropriate on a Friday morning for Michelle to talk about the odor of one Lisa Poole. I just don't think it's fair.
No. Let's keep it civil, folks.
Lisa Poole smelt. She goes, well, Michelle Wilson-Hawkins sucks, you know? Just get on each other. Good morning, Brent Anderson.
I'd be careful, Lisa Poole, because that's Michelle Wilson-Hawkins, 3 names.
3 names,
All
always the chance of a serial killer.
But you know where you never hear of these forest fires raging out of control?
West Texas,
Well, that's because there's no forest.
the Permian Basin.
Where lumber companies have gone in and
Natural cross.
and responsibly farmed the trees, planted new ones to replace them. Oh, and while they're at it, they take care of all the underbrush and everything else, right? They know what they're doing. Maybe they should contract with these lumber companies and maybe give them a little bit of instead of paying them, give them a little bit of access to the wood. I don't know. But they seem to know what they're doing. Or maybe give them access to national forests somewhere. And in exchange, they got to go in and use their knowledge and expertise to help mitigate what's going on in California.
You know, you got me to thinking about what things seem to be and what they may really be. And this whole situation with what appears to be an arrogant, outspoken, off-the-cuff lunatic Donald Trump talking about Denmark and Greenland and how we might just take it over. I've been doing a little bit more research, and I'll throw this to you. As a Canadian, as you know, at one time, Canada somewhat beholden to England. That, I mean, you know, more than somewhat, you know what I'm saying. Greenland has started to have a little bit more of a voice with the mother country, Denmark, talking to the king about wanting more autonomy, the ability to rule themselves. Do you realize that if the United States were to put what could be a fairly strategic base in Greenland and occupy it with troops, which could be a deterrent to other folks, the several $1 billion a year that we would pay Greenland for the opportunity to do so would certainly go a long way towards letting them govern themselves. There's only 56,000 people there. It could be a great symbiotic relationship. We'll pay you $5 billion a year to let us build a base. Oh, and by the way, we'll build the Walmart, and our people will come and use that Walmart. And we'll give you $5 billion. Now you use that money to run your own country. Denmark, stay over there. They still have a king in Denmark.
Yeah. The money that we would pay Greenland,
Greenland,
depending on your where you live and how you pronounce it.
It's not Oakland, it's Oakland. I'm with you.
Would more than offset any gains from the ecotourism industry.
No doubt about it. And they can still have ecotourism.
Well, and they will, and they should, because the money that we would give them would probably not go to the people who thrive on that. But watch what's going to happen in 10 years. The people of Greenland are going to be so upset over the ecotourism and wondering how to stop it because they're not managing the access to their pristine ecosystems.
Right.
They want the dollars. They're chasing the dollars. They can argue all they want about America being the bad capitalist country. We're socialist light. We're attached to Denmark. We want autonomy. 10 years from now, mark my words, Greenland and the folks there will be trying to figure out how to scale back their ecotourism. They're doing this in places already in Italy.
Yeah.
Where the tourists have overrun it. But they welcome them at first. Oh, come hike the Italian Alps. You'll love it. Now the people in the summer have there's nothing in their stores because it's a little town that's been overrun by tourists. They've all VRBO'd their houses out to these folks, but when they want to live there, there's no milk and cheese on the shelves.
Sounds like Canada. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to read this last paragraph to you. It says, back in 2020, the LA Fire Department, lots of firefighters, mostly men, quit because of the COVID-19 vax mandate. I bet they wish they had them back in the department working the fire lines. No doubt. No doubt. You remember the shortest...
But I don't think the manpower is not the issue here. It's the fact that they don't have the resources to do what they needed to do.
There you go.
And the state didn't do what they needed to do.
Shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. Shortest verse in the Wade and Carter history, Lisa Poole smelt. Just throwing it out there. I'm waiting for a adequate reply from said Miss Poole.
She's ignoring you.
She is ignoring me. She's done that.
But you know what's going to happen
50 years.
Next Thursday at bingo night? She's just going to verbally assault you.
Right. Good morning, John G. Miller. Hope you're doing well. Folks, real quick, let's do this how we do our show here. Went Services, Went Electrical, for all your electrical needs. Let Went come out and help you, whether you need a Generac generator or you just need a new plug in that garage.
From here to the valley.
Yes, they
Went
do
Services
all
will help
types.
you out.
They do custom turnkey Generac generator service all over. House District 27 of our congressional district, all over that area. RK Development Group, our buddy Daniel Rollins. He may be in here in a minute. I'm hoping he comes in and says hi. Daniel can help you with everything from bricks to sticks to a metal building, barn dominium,
They
slab.
specialize in the metal buildings, industrial, commercial, warehouse type construction, but they can do it all, and they're awesome folks. Plus, marine owned, veteran owned business, and over 35 years combined experience to help you achieve your building dreams.
Pour concrete and establish a perimeter of security around that location.
He'll have a bunker and a little...
right. What is that? That's my bunker.
That's my sniper's nest.
VCS companies for all your communication needs. Simply the best of the best of the best. There's nobody close. If you have a fleet of vehicles and you want GPS on them, you want cameras on them, you want dash cams, as an insurance guy, I can tell you all of those things can pay for themselves over time. It's kind of like solar panels on your roof. In theory, you're putting money back on the grid. In theory, you can lower your insurance cost as a commercial business by having those things. Get with the VCS companies for all of that. Get it on your new Chevy, Adson and AdsonOffer.com. They'll compete straight up, and they do so every day and have for almost 100 years with all the dealers in Corpus and along the way. Come see Adson Offer for your next Chevy. You'll be thrilled that you did. And White Trash Services. White Trash can help you have a trash-tastic day.
Absolutely.
If you live out in the country, BJ Nelson's confused about when bingo is. She's out. We don't want to miss the VISD school board. No. And no, BJ, no. We can't change bingo to Tuesday. We might.
We've
We'll talk
already.
about it.
We can't. You'll be in Corpus for.
Oh, that's
swearing
right.
in.
I've got to be in. I get to be in Austin for
Yes.
the swearing in of the legislature. It's just bingo, BJ. You'll be okay.
I know you have fun there. We all do.
Palace bingo.
We
friends.
couldn't do it any other day this month.
So Mark Kurtz brings up a subject I want to address. I'm going to tease you with it because it'll be more talked about in the next couple of weeks. Mark says he's heard that 20 plus firemen have left Victoria to date. I don't know if Corpus Christi's having a problem with their first responders. I'd love to hear 361-894-4020. But we have a group. See, Fireman Ash in this situation, these guys can't strike. They can't just go, we're going to walk out. You can't do it. It's against the law. But they can bargain collectively. They can, and they're trying to do so now. They're trying to secure, I think the magic number is 2,000 names on a petition to allow them to have collective bargaining. And the problem we've got across our first responder spectrum in Victoria, and like I said, I'd be really curious to know if Corpus shares this challenge, is that we get guys that come in, they're fresh out of school, one thing leads to another. We hire them, we put them through the academy, we give them a Ford Explorer, we send them out on the streets, and then in no time at all, somebody comes along and hires them for, and they're kids. Hire them for another, $50 a week, and they'll leave you for that. That's 2 cases of beer. I'm out of here. I'm going to Edner. Well, the problem with that is that over time, all you have is a top-heavy, aged police force, and your young guys aren't growing up through the system, and then you're having to go hire guys at higher wages. But I'm really concerned about what seems to be an abyss between city management and our fire department.
And our police department and our EMT. There seems to be issues. We're losing police officers by droves as well.
And don't get me wrong, we have the resources here, whether it's to get Mr. Chuck Cook, who's the police chief.
Chuck Young.
I don't know where Cook came from. I know I'm thinking about the Speaker of the House. Chuck Young has more power here than the Speaker of the House. But whether you get Officer Young on here or Jesus Garza, our city manager, who's always been very forthcoming and I'm sure has his own rebuttal to the situation, it is, at the very least, it's a problem. We got to figure
so many
out
tax dollars to go around.
We got to figure out how to handle that. So BJ Nelson points out that next week is ABC, Association of Builders and Contractors, has a banquet on Thursday, and the Chamber has a party, and it's a big bar party hopping night. So,
I'll be honest though,
me, you, and Lisa Poole will be at bingo, I guess.
Well, I don't see a lot of Chamber denizens coming over on bingo night anyway.
True story. Yes. Tammy Keeling asks, weren't the firemen and first responders trying to get collective bargaining? Teachers don't have collective bargaining either, so pay. Well, okay. We know you care about the teachers. The firemen are seeking that now via petition. They're trying, good morning, Sheriff Louderback. They're trying to get that by petition. They're trying to get enough votes.
How do you solve that as a city? Do you scale back? Because taxes, it's interesting. When you live in a community where your tax dollars are evidently at work and your cost of and your quality of life, nobody complains about it. Nobody then complains about the taxes they're paying, right?
Right.
Let's be honest. If you see the results of your tax dollars,
like if you live in the woodlands,
people are less inclined to complain about their taxes.
You're happy in the woodlands.
When you don't see the results of your tax dollars at work, you tend to complain. So what's the solution for Victoria? Do we need to take and from what I understand, our budgets across the board are pretty lean, but do we really need to look at all the things we're funding and putting money into that don't impact police and fire? Because we're losing police and fighters, officers in droves. We can't recruit them. We can't retain them. This is what we've heard. It's a problem for our city management. It's a problem for the residents, right?
Right.
So what do? Do you scale back? Hang on, caller. Do you scale back all your spending elsewhere? Should we not have built a nice stage downtown for parties and celebrations?
The problem with that, Ash, is that the couple of $1,000,000 it cost to build that isn't really a drop in the problem bucket. There are people here, Ricky King says...
that was just an example. But you find enough of those drops in the bucket, now you have half a bucket.
Yeah. It's pointed out that we've lost a battalion. Go back up one click there, and you'll see that he says, Ricky King says, City of Victoria's lost a battalion chief, 2 captains, and a lieutenant to an emergency service district up in the Houston area. The pay is better and the benefits are better. And it's pointed out that if you want to sign the petition, you've got to do so here in the city. You have to live in the city. Mr. Buddy Kamen, who's always been a champion of our first responders in general, healthcare, county hospital, really an amazing champion of these things, selflessly working hours and hours on this, is the one that brought this to my attention, and he will have more info for us a little bit later. Lisa Poole asked, could it be a city manager management problem? It could be. It could be that we're majoring in the minor and not focusing on the core things that we need. So we're joined by BJ Nelson. So many hats that Ms. Nelson wears. She's the president of the Chamber of Commerce. She's on the school board. She runs a company.
I forgot she was president of the Chamber of Commerce. So let me adjust.
She probably
what I
called
said.
it jump you.
She comes to bingo. She's the
she
one
does.
chamber person that comes to bingo.
That's true. Good morning, ma'am. How are you? Wait.
Oh, did we lose her? No.
No. There
you
she
got her
is.
muted.
What triggered me to call you
She's
this
been
morning.
talking for 10 minutes. And she's happy.
So, right.
And when we finally get to her, she goes, and that's all I've got to say about that. I know what love is.
Yeah, thanks for calling, BJ. We
Thanks,
appreciate
BJ. That was BJ Nelson, all around good person here in town. Talk to us, ma'am. What's on your mind?
Very kind of you. What triggered me to call you was talking about the policemen, the firemen, and then, back in November, we had the opportunity to pay our teachers more with the Vatre. And, Mr. Randy Meyer went to over 50 locations, was on the radio to educate people on the opportunity to vote on this, and it didn't pass. So we're kind of in the same bucket with the firemen that are, aren't there to help fight these fires in California. We don't have the teachers, and this isn't just a Victoria problem. This is a state problem and a federal problem, is that if we don't start honoring our policemen, our firemen, and our teachers, we're going to be in a world of hurt, and we're there. So we've got to figure out how to combat that. And I think a lot of it is the disengagement of the communities that we don't go to. I mean, I know y'all kind of poo-poo going to school board meetings because they are boring, but
we don't poo-poo them. We just
maybe you should start telling them tonight we're going to have like theme night. Like maybe y'all could wear different outfits and headwear, and
BJ Nelson's going to be playing the role of Julie, the cruise director on the Love Boat.
And Love Boat.
Yeah, Mike Mercer will be Meryl Stubing, the captain.
Right. Come on in and learn.
Well, I'll bring that up.
What if we had cocktails? What if it was VISD?
Mocktails. They can't serve alcohol.
No, but they
on
should,
on
'cause
school property.
It'd
Well,
be
we have
so
to make
much more.
decisions, that would
So
be
much.
kind of dicey.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, but
Who cares?
That gives you some leeway. What?
but-
We approved that? I was drunk. I don't remember it.
I don't. That's right. That's your out.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
No, we make light, but yeah, you're. I mean, there is a
But
serious
because
problem
we've
with
been,
this.
we've voted people in, or I mean, look at, start with the apathy of when it's time to vote. 12% maybe turn out to vote. So we've
That's
got
true.
apathy there, and then you don't go to the city council meetings or the county committee. You'd rather go home, get in your comfy chair, watch reruns of Wheel of Fortune, and we don't get engaged. And so, we've got a very few people running things, and if a bad apple gets in and they start going down a path like California, they've been going down a bad path for a long time. So we have no one to blame but the person in the mirror. So we've got to start realizing it's our problem, it's our country, and we need to get engaged. And maybe you're not entertained all the time. Maybe you have to go. I sat at a city council meeting for 4.5 hours. Was the whole thing exciting? I don't think so. But I feel way more educated, and I haven't been to one in a while, but I do talk to April Butler and hear what's going on, and she's learning so much about what's going on.
It-
So
it-
we do
there-
have good
well-
guys on the dais, but we've got to support them.
Yeah.
Go
Now,
ahead.
is it fair? Is it fair to say that the school system is somewhat its own situation? Like I think that we're heading towards a time where Victorians are going to have to be taxed more, because as unpopular as that is, I think it's going to happen. We
had the opportunity. We had the opportunity last November to be taxed more.
minimally, it was a nothing deal, and it would have helped the teachers
Yeah.
a lot.
A lot.
So is it?
A lot.
I mean, I'm not putting you on the spot. I'll make the statement. In general, our local voter tends to not be genius. I mean, it's just a fact. We don't.
No, I don't think that's it. I think it's just we've been beat down about disengagement, about we'll take care of it. The government will take care of it. We've got to have a mindset to switch to say we are the government. Whenever someone says, "Oh, the government will take care of it," I always come back with, "We are the
we
government."
are the government.
Yeah,
You're right.
I think
so.
it-
If
I think-
people will start realizing that we are the government, we do need to be engaged. It's not an option, because all we have to do is look at California.
We
Those people are
the
not
gov-
engaged, and they're burning. They're
Well,
burning up.
the people are engaged in California. It's the government and those that they elect that seem to are disengaged, and that I think is the problem in most communities where you have these issues. The people want the level of protection that's afforded by properly funded firefighters and such. It's those that we elect that somehow bait and switch us, saying they're for these things, and then they don't put it as a priority.
Well, the sentence you just said was those that we elect. We need to be the one that are getting elected. The ones we don't just need to sit there and hope that somebody will run that has our views. We need to run. And
Right.
we've got a wonderful opportunity. We're gonna have 3 seats becoming available. We know Mike Mercer isn't running again, so that spot is open. I don't know about the other 2 ladies, but there's going to be another election come May. And that's the other thing is people think the only election you need to vote in is for president. Au contraire, there are multiple elections throughout the year, May, November. Sometimes there's special ones. And you need to take when I ran, I said, "Can I have 40 seconds of your time to go vote?" And really, that's all
And
it
46 minutes later, they said, "Yes, we'll vote for you. Just get off my porch."
BJ, we've got to run. We got to take a break, and then we've got a guest in the
Okay.
studio. But
BJ,
we appreciate
thank
the
you
call.
for your
Thank you.
accessibility. You're awesome, ma'am. Thank you. That was BJ Nelson.
She's got some points, and these are problems that are faced in every community. But
If we could just get an elected official in here, we could choose some butts. You know what I'm saying? I want some butts.
Tammy Killing says looking in the mirror is a good point. For years, we won't support bonds or VATRI or whatever they call it. Elections of consequences. We created this shortage.
Yeah, I agree. But see, I still go back a step further and say the school district basically sucking for the last 25 years created the lack of support
And
all
it's-
the way
to me,
down
it's-
to the basic. The VATRI is something that I was a proponent of. I implored our people to vote for it, and they are still saying because of the bond rape and because of the tax grab that you people, Tammy Keeling, initiated and took advantage of.
And it goes back further, in my opinion. When they consolidated the high schools, the people were not for it.
No,
And if
that's
they
right.
had to do it, they didn't do a very good reason.
But we had to
telling
be,
it.
everybody's got to be equal. It's ridiculous. They're still not equal, and it's the dumbest thing ever.
Jill Buchanan says, I worked the election. Many voters didn't understand the wording of the VATRI. Yeah, there was a lot of confusion there. She says there's also a group in our town who badmouth the school board no matter who's on it.
That's true.
But they're not.
That is
I know
true,
some of those folks. They don't influence elections.
No. So let's do this.
They don't even vote. They just chirp.
Do you want to take a quick break?
Take a quick break.
Give us a quick break, folks. Let's just a moment of silence. There you go.
There you go.
All right. USA Concrete Coating in Corpus Christi. If you're in Corpus today, you need USA Concrete Coating as your
361
ground
578
shifts.
home.
You want to put down a nice garage floor covering. It's polyurethane. It's tough as nails. Won't crack, stick, peel, or fade. Put it down. You can put down a Corpus Christi Hooks logo on your garage floor. They can do that.
They can.
Make it happen. Reach out to them today. Veracruz Restaurant, if you're ever in Victoria, you got to go to Veracruz, the best Mexican food in town. It'll stack up against anything you've got in Corpus. Take the challenge. The best guac, the best queso, the best hot sauce in Victoria.
Today's the last day for the week.
There you go.
Might have to get there tonight.
Come on in.
Yep. Don't forget the Dollar Floor Store. They're blowing out flooring. 39 cents a square foot on tile, 99 cents a square foot on carpet, right there on Navarro, next to Harbor Freight. So if you're going to lay that tile and flooring yourself, you want to go to Harbor Freight and get the knee pads you're going to need so you don't wear them out.
And don't forget JAS. It's a cleaning service, but it's more than that. It's a health and hygiene initiative. If you've
Lots
got
of RSV and flu going around right now. So if your household has been absolutely decimated by it, now's the time to call. They will come in. They will sanitize and scrub and clean everything, and you can rest assured that the virus will be gone.
hit us up on Facebook. We'll get you the contact info for JAS.
They're very good at what they do.
Let's do this. Let's shift gears. Oh, there's the applause. I did get a note from City Councilman Ricky Garza that Corpus Christi gave their police officers and firefighters, paramedics, a 15% raise over 3 years, 5% each year to keep personnel. That's probably where some of our firefighters went.
And what would we try to do? Rob Peter to pay Paul.
We tried to take it out of their pension. Interesting. We're joined by longtime friend of the program. Never liked you, Ash, personally. Texas.
It's funny he says that. He says that same thing about you.
House District 30 representative elect for about 3 more days, Sheriff AJ Louderback. Sir, welcome in, and
good morning, man.
Always good to see you, sir.
Absolutely, both of y'all. Very good content this morning. It was good.
It's fun. It's live.
Things.
We're very excited. We're live in Corpus today on 3 channels.
That's great.
And Lilo Arguelles and the folks over at Magic 95.9, of course, our mothership. You've been there many times. They have extended that opportunity to us. Due to some technical stuff on their end, and we're trying our best not to, mess it up.
Well, Corpus needs some conservatism too. So
absolutely. How are things? What are you hearing?
Things are good. Things are looking forward to the 14th of January as we start on a new pathway in the Texas House, and the challenges that Texas has right now.
It's becoming closer to you being more official. I saw your names on the voter tally board now.
Yes.
And your name's on the door of your office now.
Well, it's been on there for a bit, and the state that does a pretty good job with that. Got my nameplate on the desk. So
nice.
If you're walking down there's
Funky
hall,
Trey Molina.
There's Trey Molina. He's in from Corpus. If you're walking down the hall at the Capitol where AJ's office is, it's easy to find because there's a little hitching post out front for Trigger.
Yeah.
Where he can just tie the horse up right there. He has adequate staff to clean up.
And instead of a coat rack at the door, he's got a holster rack.
Place for you to hang your weapons.
we were looking for a hat rack too. So
can you imagine, Sheriff? Skin that smoke wagon. See what happens.
Speaking of which,
you're gonna pull it or just sit there and bleed?
You stand there and bleed. Yeah.
Was it all you could do to not break Tom Holman's hands when he wore your hat?
Right.
Yeah. We've got a hat. We're gonna solve the hat problem for Tom.
Are you gonna get him a hat?
Yeah,
that's nice.
Manny's
go to Texas Hatters.
Got him some boots.
I think that's about a 7 5/8 on Tom Holman. He's got a big head. He does. I'm just saying it's.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
So
tell us, just give folks an idea of like your schedule, what it's been, and what's coming up over the next couple of days.
Well, of course, been in campaign mode for the best part of a year. As we finish this, and this culminates in a seat in the Texas House, and kudos to Representative Morrison for her years of service and the fine job that she did representing this district. So House District 30, has been in good hands for some time. Very conservative district. very. I am. There are a lot of jealous House members over this House district. It's very red, very conservative, very ideals that come out of this district, and I'm a good fit for that.
Yes, sir.
And it's my knowledge of the House and the Senate and the legislative process. It's going to work out very well as we move forward.
Which way do we want to start? I know we talked a little bit yesterday about looking at what's coming up in the legislative session. Do we want to look at what is coming for House District 30 first and then look statewide, or do you want to go state and then narrow the scope? Which way do you want to go with
Probably
this?
Ash, it would be it's a pretty historical situation going on right now in the Texas House in the Speaker's race. So this is probably first and foremost. This will be the first order of business after swearing in that the House must accomplish. And so this is going to be shaping up to be quite a fight.
We always hear about how important the Speaker is, but why is the Speaker so important in the Texas House?
Third most powerful man in Texas politics, Texas legislature. So Texas leadership.
Let's see. There's Jerry Jones, and
Not quite.
Jerry Jones, and then that Holt family in San Antonio that owns the Spurs, and then Jim Crane,
And then the guy that owns the
Astros.
Texans, because they've fallen off in recent years. So maybe it's the fifth most power. Yeah.
In real power. Those other guys don't make laws. That's a true story.
Correct. Don't make decisions for the state of Texas.
I want to read something for you verbatim and not even ask you necessarily to address it, but I just want to give credit where the effort is due. Tammy Keeling adds, vouchers will only further harm public schools. Fund public schools first before any vouchers. Schools have not had an increase in the basic allotment since 2019. Basic allotment is not adjusted for inflation. Unfunded mandates cost millions, and more than 60% of the 1,000 plus districts are in financial difficulty, including many in ESC 3.
Well, there's more of that than and she's right about several things there.
Many people haven't had raises since 2019. So, I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but she's saying that there's a certain allotment and they're not adjusted. You get X number of dollars. But anyway, go ahead, sir.
Let's break it down. The basic allowance of $6,100 needs to go up, and I feel very confident that the House and the Senate are both going to take care of that. Absolutely correct in saying it has not gone up, and that money has affected some school districts. The issue is also it's not just state money, but it's money how a district manages its money both ways. There's taxes that we all pay for school districts, so that's part of the equation too. So, but the state allotment has to go up. I'm in 100% favor of that, and most of my House colleagues are going to be in favor of that, as are teacher pay raises. And I don't believe that there's the idea that we should leverage a bill for a teacher pay raise, such as what happened last session. I thought that was just fundamentally wrong.
Right, like where we say we're going to fund abortion clinics, but it also provides a 3% raise for teachers.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I'll vote for that.
In my opinion, we should have gave the teachers a raise. If we think our teachers need a raise, we need to give them a raise.
Amen.
And then ask them to come to the table for a bill that I'm presenting for education reform, which is what we're looking at now. So vouchers may or may not scare me. It depends on how they're used and how it's written. I remember when charter schools was going to decimate public schools and was going to.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
And it hasn't.
Well,
I've got to do a little housekeeping to the comments. Please don't attack people personally on there. Or I'm deleting the comments, but I'll block you from commenting if I see it any
there
further.
you go. It's a Friday. It's a free-for-all Friday.
Friday.
Well, the idea to me, sir, is, we had, and thank you for your help in this as well. We had Representative Brad Buckley, the chairman of the House Education. I mean, he's the guy when it comes to talking about vouchers. And he pointed out that if Texas, and he's pro-voucher, if Texas really hits a home run, in 10 years, we'll have 150,000 kids on vouchers. It's kind of like going to a $high steakhouse and wondering if you should use 2 or 3 sweet and lows.
Well, I mean,
It's just not a big issue.
Well, let's do this. Let's praise Tammy for her passion on education. So, the goal here is to raise the education level here in Texas.
Amen.
And so it's the kids that I'm worried about. It's going to be a package of things that go along. What I'm interested in is a disciplinary. We have to restore discipline in Texas schools. We've got to make sure that we don't have strings attached, into our private schools and our homeschooling things. I don't mind it in public schools, but we spend a lot of money. TEA spends a lot of money. We have $93 billion involved in the Texas education system.
I'm 100% for, and you've seen this through all the decades that you've spent in law enforcement. You get to a certain age of accountability where, pardon the vernacular, but a turd's a turd. It is what it is. The number one thing, and you'll hear it from anybody that has kids in either both situations or has been around it, the advantage that a private school has is if your kid doesn't act right, we're going to send your kid home.
No, we're going to kick him out.
Your kid, right? That's what I mean. We're sending your kid to the house. I believe that after a kid's freshman year in high school, if their grades aren't on track, if they're constantly absent, if they're disruptive in the classroom, if they're spending all their time in the correctional class, send them home. The state should not be babysitting these turds until they turn into a powdered donut.
There are other countries who are better than the United States, which is about 70th in the world now in education, however these places benchmark it and measure it, that they do that. When they get along the way and a kid decides, or they find out or realize a kid isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing in their traditional education, they move that kid into another path.
Right.
Whether it's a trade.
A huge fan of
something.
Trade. Huge fan of
yeah,
trade.
No,
schools.
I am too. But this is how you weed out the crap from the system so that your education attainment rises. I think it was who was I listening to the other day? And he pointed out when the Department of Education was first created by Jimmy Carter, the U.S. was number 1 in the world in education. We've fallen to 70th since then. Other countries place an emphasis on the things that we want.
We're in the bottom third, bottom quarter here in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Texas is not doing well.
This is reprehensible. I mean, we've got to get our education standards up. I'm not a fan of the constant screen, the loss of accountability on our kids today. Well, we can't write in cursive. I mean, we don't have a pencil and paper where we can do things every day. I mean, we don't have a way currently in Texas to get kids to school. Our truancy laws have been changed and decriminalized at all, so there's no penalty for that. There's no consequences for not coming to school. So there's a number of things as a package that we can enhance the public ed in Texas. And yes, money's a part of that, and I want to vote for that, and I will vote for that, and because school districts have to have the necessary dollars from the state. That's in our state constitution. We've got to do that.
You mentioned you were going to put forth a bill for education reform. What are some of those reforms that you're looking to try to accomplish?
Well, I won't do the bill. That'll be a low number bill, House Bill 123. On the education package. Okay. So it is not out yet, not public. We're just hearing little rumors of bits and pieces about what it's going to entail. The Senate will have its own version of theirs. You
know, though, Sheriff, there's things I've enjoyed. I go back and forth with Governor Abbott. I know you guys have gone back and forth as well. There have been times y'all were very close.
Absolutely.
There were times he distanced himself, and now I know he's back. But
Happy birthday, Bill.
I find myself being the guy that is like, if he got as adamantly passionate and proactive about education as he claims he is, and as he has been regarding certain situations at our border, putting people on buses, sending them to Maine, those kinds of things that we all laugh at and respect, I just got to believe that the legislature would back him up and we could have real education improvement in our state.
Well, this is the goal. We need education has to go up here in Texas. I mean, we've got to do a better job with our kids. We've got great teachers, and we've been hemorrhaging teachers for some time. Because for a number of reasons, there's no one single reason why we're losing teachers, and we don't have uncertified people in the classrooms right now. So
the turnover is unbelievable. It's like like a VISD. Somebody give me the number. There's Amanda Bloschke right there. She knows the number.
She's a teacher.
Give us the number. Like
reading and
30-something teachers, or I don't know how many teachers have we lost this year that are just like, I'm done.
Well, it's they've got to have control of their classroom. We've got to empower teachers to teach, administration to come in here.
But how do you deal with
teachers.
how do you deal with the parent who then, the minute you send little Johnny or Susie to the office because they're in trouble because they haven't done what they've been asked to do, or they disrespect the teacher, mom or dad comes whipping into the parking lot on two wheels, screeching to a halt to the front door, and comes storming in and berates the principal or whoever, and in some cases physically assaults them, and little Johnny or Susie does the same in the classroom.
Yeah.
How do you address that, where parents will never hold their kids accountable anymore because they're now bulldozer parents?
The school has
they bulldoze
right?
everything in front of their kids because their kid never does anything wrong.
Send the kid home.
Attitude, conduct, behavior. These are the three things that make successful schools. We have some districts that don't tolerate that, and we have other districts that do. And so, my hope is we can get to a discipline standard and strengthen that in such a way that a district has the ability, to take care of these type of parents who are concerned about their kids' education. I get it about that. There's a way to do that, and there's a complaint process to take care of that. Let's follow the rules. Let's follow the disciplinary standards. Let's follow our conduct and behavior standards here, or else you're going to get removed from the school.
Peter McNally, who's been a longtime champion
Absolutely.
of education, he's been a mentor, very, very selfless individual dealing with kids for no remuneration, just working with kids. He says, spend the money to improve the alternative education environment, which I think of as being the trade schools and things that I do believe VISD has done a good job of bringing it real local. But I just think that there's got to be, there are lots of people. I've been fortunate through the years. I know people that are self-made that started out with one little plumbing truck, and now they've got 50 plumbing trucks, and they spend more money on their laundry than I make. And they just worked their way up. They made it happen.
Don't be a hater.
No, I love that. But the whole deal would be some of these folks and some of these kids should have the opportunity to go say, I know I don't want to go to college. I'm ready to get out of school, but I want to go learn computer skills. I want to go learn. And then they could intern with someone like Cody Bauman at Brand Us. And the next thing you know, they're making their own money, and then their business grows. There's lots of ways to make money. The idea is for the average kid going to school, we have to create an environment where they have an opportunity to learn. And I know that I feel that you agree with me that, hey, if you're 16 years old, you can stay home alone all day. We'll let you study online, but you're not going to be on our campus anymore because you're a turd.
Well, I think that's part of the problem is we put tablets and things in kids' hands on campus in classrooms, and lots of studies are showing doesn't matter what you're doing online or on a tablet, it messes up your ability to focus and to stay engaged. The attention deficit is exacerbated by these things.
I firmly believe we have too much screen time with our kids, with our children.
Yes, sir.
Very young children. And, you know, and Victoria's done a great job for the region around here. You know, I'm a huge fan of mid-coast schools, mid-coast trades here.
Absolutely.
HVAC, you know, electrical, plumbing. These are, last I checked, there were close to 90 students in there. And I think that's a program worth trying to expand. To give educational opportunities to more and more kids, to make them productive citizens, which is what we're trying to do here in this country.
Amen.
Is get our education level up.
And that is a problem, and has been a problem in this district for about 20 years, if not longer. Is the number of students actually getting to college and getting a degree in the Crossroads has remained flat, and it's dismally low compared to the rest of the state. I mean, we're talking about 20%. I think somewhere in that range, 20 to 30%.
I've been working with UHV and you know, Victoria College, and I think there's some things that we can do to promote the higher ed part, and there's certainly some things the state of Texas could do to promote public ed.
Absolutely.
I intend to look at that.
And as somebody who's in the higher ed sphere, it's not for everybody. Let's be honest. But we've got to find the ways to make young people productive citizens of not only this community but the world, and it's not going to be through higher education in the, you know, bachelor's, master's degree for everybody. So we got to figure that out.
We'll work for everyone.
We're at the top of the hour, so we're out of time. Would love to continue this conversation, but I know you're going to be busy the next few months, I guess. But with our technology that we have, we could probably bring you in from Austin, but I know you're going to be inaugurated on Tuesday now.
You know, I'm looking for, you know, for Wade and Carter and for the district here, you know, I'm looking for a regular update because I think people need to be informed more if they care to, if they're interested enough. Let's make sure that they get the information out there, the correct information, instead of misinformation.
Absolutely.
So we can get you know, so we can propel this district here and along a you know, a great path.
Absolutely. We wish you a great week next week. I know it's going to be exciting and fun. And I also know that you're ready to hit the ground running.
Absolutely.
Do this for us. Ash, let's take just a quick minute. For those of you that hung around on Facebook, real quick Astros update brought to you by the First State Bank of Louise.
They avoid arbitration with 7, including Framber Valdez, Chas McCormick, Jeremy Pena,
Mauricio Dubon.
Luis Garcia, who's been on the shelf because of Tommy John surgery.
He's going to be back.
I look forward to him really helping this rotation.
It's going to be good. Kyle Tucker is in Chicago. He wants $17.5 million. They're offering $15 million. So he'll go to arbitration
today, right? Today's the last day for hearings.
Today, and I think we would have probably paid him the $17.5 million. It's a weird deal.
We need to lose him.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Jewel Buchanan wants to know what your contact info is. AJ is House Texas 30 House Representative.
How can Jewel Buchanan send you information?
361-781-4468.
There you go. 781-4468.
Wait a minute. That's your cell phone. You can't give that out. You're an elected official.
You can't be that accessible.
Well, let's see.
He's gone mad.
How do I represent you?
Right.
Can't
Amen.
get hold of you.
There you go.
Official contact, not personal, she asks.
Oh.
Well, my house.
He ain't even got his email yet. He ain't even got in his office yet.
This is not active for several more days, but the house email address is aj.louderback@texas.house.gov.
There you go.
There you go. AJ dot. That's a bullet hole. All right, Sheriff.
She's got my website, you know, so that's
Jewel will find you.
As soon as that goes live, you're going to have
I'm going to
8
send this stuff
messages from
every
Jewel.
day. Every day. aj.louderback@texas.house.gov.
We appreciate AJ. Thank you
AJ,
very much.
thank you,
Thanks for
sir.
stopping by this morning.
Appreciate y'all.
Hey, everybody, have a great weekend. Be good to each other. Stay safe on the roads and stay warm. We love you.
Now, those of you in Corpus Christi, thanks for tuning in and sticking with us.
Amen. Bye, folks.
We'll see you later. Bye.
I've been kicked out of my